Hola amigos, it's Mrs. Sinanacone back for another story time. And this is our last story for the celebration of Latinx or Hispanic Heritage Month, where we get a chance to explore and celebrate Latin American culture. And today's author is also the illustrator, the person who draws the pictures. And she is a Mexican American named Yuyi Morales. And she has a lot of amazing books. And you should definitely, if you get a chance, check out her website. It is yuyimorales.com. And Yuyi got the idea for this story from a class she took for illustrating children's books. She decided to make a counting book, but what should she count? Inspired by Mexican folktales she grew up with, Yuyi decided to do a trickster tale. And she describes a trickster tale as one in which ordinary people like you or I defeat extraordinary beings. Trickster tales are popular all over the world. In West Africa, Anansi the spider is often a trickster, and in China it is the Monkey King who can be a trickster. This book has won the Pura Belpré Award, and Pura Belpré was the first Latina librarian at the New York Public Library, and there was a book recently written about her life. It's great, you should check it out. And that book is called Planting Stories, The Life of Librarian and Storyteller Pura Belpré. Today's story is Just a Minute. Just a Minute is a trickster tale and counting book. And a trickster tale means that one character is able to outsmart the other. Who do you think the trickster is in this story? And this story is written and illustrated by Yuyi Morales. And it's confusing because when you see her name, it's Y-U-Y-I, but you pronounce that Yuyi. Yuyi is a Mexican-American author and illustrator, and she's won many awards for all of her amazing books. Our story today has two main characters, Señor Calavera and Grandma Beetle. Now you may have noticed Señor Calavera is a skeleton, and just watch how his face changes throughout the story as Grandma Beetle keeps tricking him. And now our story. I hope you like it. When Grandma Beetle woke at dawn, she heard a knock at the door. And oh my, waiting outside, she found Señor Calavera. Señor Calavera tipped his hat. What a skinny gentleman! With a pass of his hand, he signaled to Grandma Beetle. It was time for her to come along with him. Just a minute, Señor Calavera, Grandma Beetle said. I will go with you right away. I just have one house to sweep. Señor Calavera remembered he had extra time today, so he decided to wait. Uno, swept house, counted Señor Calavera, and he rose from his seat. Just a minute, Señor Calavera, Grandma Beetle said. I will go with you right away. I just have 2 pots of tea to boil. Señor Calavera sighed. Waiting a little longer wouldn't hurt anybody after all. Dos. 2 steaming pots of tea, counted Señor Calavera, and he headed for the door. Just a minute, Señor Calavera, Grandma Beetle said. I will go with you right away. I have just 3 pounds of corn to make into tortillas. Señor Calavera rolled his eyes. He had to be very patient sometimes. Tres. 3 stacks of tortillas, counted Señor Calavera, and he put on his hat. Just a minute, Señor Calavera, Grandma Beetle said. I will go with you right away. I have just 4 fruits to slice. Señor Calavera frowned. This was taking more time than he had expected. Cuatro. 4 fruits made into salad, counted Señor Calavera, and he motioned that they should go. Just a minute, Señor Calavera, Grandma Beetle said. I will go with you right away. I have just 5 cheeses to melt. Señor Calavera tapped his fingers. This was getting out of hand. Cinco. 5 melted cheeses, counted Señor Calavera, and he hurried to help Grandma Beetle with her sweater. Just a minute, Senor Calavera, Grandma Beetle said. I will go with you right away. I have just 6 pots of food to cook. Senor Calavera threw up his hands. What else could he do? 6. 6 pots of delicious food, counted Senor Calavera, and he offered Grandma Beetle his arm. Just a minute, Senor Calavera, Grandma Beetle said. I will go with you right away. I have just 7 piñatas to fill with candy. Senor Calavera shook his head in disbelief. It was getting late. 7. 7 piñatas full of candy, counted Senor Calavera, and he held open the door for Grandma Beetle. Just a minute, Senor Calavera, Grandma Beetle said. I will go with you right away. I have just 8 platters of food to arrange on the table. Enough! Senor Calavera could take no more. 8 platters of food sat on the table. But Senor Calavera had lost count. He was too busy stomping the floor. Oh, look, Senor Calavera, Grandma Beetle exclaimed. Here come my grandchildren. Senor Calavera took a deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 beautiful grandchildren came through the door. The children sat at the table, everyone at his place. Now, Grandma Beetle said, all my guests are here, and together they make 10. But the guests sitting at the table counted only 9. Grandma, the children protested, where's guest number 10? Here he is, she answered, 10. Number 10, of course, is Senor Calavera. It was time to celebrate Grandma Beetle's birthday. When the birthday cake was all aflame, Grandma Beetle blew out the candles with a gust like a hurricane. When the party was over, Grandma Beetle kissed her grandchildren one by one. Then she announced, I am ready, Senor Calavera. But, oh my, where was Senor Calavera? Grandma Beetle found only a note. Dear Grandma Beetle, your birthday party was a scream. I had fun like never before. I wouldn't miss your next birthday party for anything in the world. You can count on that. Sincerely yours, Senor Calavera. And that's the end. What'd you think? Was it a thumbs up? I loved it. Can't wait to read it again. Or maybe it was a thumbs down. Not the story for me. Did you have a favorite part? I really like how Senor Calavera changes. At first he's patient, then he's trying to be helpful, then he gets very impatient, and then he decides to come back next year. I also really like the looks on Grandma Beetle's face. She changes her expression and you can tell she knows exactly what she's doing. Well, that's it for this time. Remember to read good books. Take deep breaths and try to stretch. Wear your mask when you go out in public. Remember to wash your hands and sanitize them. And remember that I love you. Until next time, adios.